What's up, everyone? I don't know if anyone's actually here right now, but sup, Chevy? Everyone check in SAR so I know you're here. I know people are here. Sorry I'm a little late today. I was just doing laundry and my thing was, I just wanted to put it in the dryer, so it's drying while I do my stream. So I was a little lazy, I guess. Didn't do it early enough. Hold on a second. Let me freeze that. Why isn't this freezing? I swear to God. What the fuck, man? I need to like figure this out. Like, I'm gonna probably figure a lot of this out when I go to New York. I just feel like 3 months. I mean, like maybe a few months ago I should have just been like, I gotta at least figure out something for the next 6 months. But now that it's less than 3 months, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Let's just leave it at that for now. Long as I'm still alive, no need to apologize. Well, that's what I am. Still alive. Yeah, it is. Just wait for a few more people. I know it's a Sunday, so usually Sundays I think are a little less. But there isn't a game going on. You guys watch the game? So, I'll just wait a few more minutes. I know I started at a different time, so maybe people are thrown off. But anyway, how are you guys doing? I'm sure. Do you guys are you guys aware of what I'm going to be talking about? Let me just update actually my Twitch. I can do that while people aren't here, really. About to finish cheating. What is cheating? Does that mean you're taking a dump right now? It's kind of messed up, but kind of funny too. Natashagate. Natashagate. I'm going to be talking about Natashagate. I mean, it's really like, to be honest, it's really only a thing if you're like terminally online. It's like not even a thing most people are even thinking about because it's so fucking stupid. You have all these like just terminally online people looking to fucking get angry about something. And it's just so obvious now, It's like before in 2020, 2021, I was dealing with a lot of this shit, of course. From black people and all this other nonsense. And at first I kind of like thought like, okay, I can kind of see where this anger is coming from and this historical stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it's just this constant refusal to listen to Asian people, like as if there's no other side to the story, as if like, and the stupid part of it all is that like all of this story is coming to them through like Western media specifically for this very purpose. And the fact that they try to like make themselves into both the victim and the hero, right? Like it's they're victim of this terrible racism from Asians all over the world. It's not true, obviously, but like they're the victims of all this terrible anti-Asian racism, right? But they're also the heroes. They're the ones that saved us from white racism because of all their efforts during this fucking the civil rights in America, right? All their efforts in America apparently saved Asians all around the world. And it's actually kind of funny because it's actually inverted. It's the opposite, right? As many of you guys who watch me all know. It's actually the Vietnam War that provided leverage for the civil rights movement, not the civil rights movement saving Asian people from white fucking exploitation. So they get the logic. It's all inverted logic, which is why it's the same thing as Zionism. And you know, a few years ago, 4 years ago, I was like already thinking about like making a video and making content about it. And like the WMF mind virus, I thought that kind of question was at least settled, right? I think most people, most normal people, even like a lot of black people that follow me, right? So I was like, okay, most normal people kind of like recognize that black people are kind of racist to Asian people in the United States, and that just because you're black doesn't mean you can't be racist, right? Like I feel like we had gotten over those two very simple, basic pillars of logic that obviously during 2020, 2021. Because of all Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff, like nobody wanted to hear any of that, right? But I think like, after the dust settled and people started thinking more rationally, like there were a lot of black people who were like, yeah, that especially black communists who are like, yeah, that was a reality that happened, right? But then now it's coming back, obviously, and it's all coming back at once. And it all seems too coincidental. And I was even thinking this before all this anti-black stuff started to come out, right? Like I was saying that, in the past few months, right, since the invasion into Iran. So that happened 3 months ago, right? For the past 3 months, we have been invading Iran, right? that hasn't stopped yet. Neither has really the genocide in Gaza, although I think it's more in Lebanon at the moment. I'm not even fucking sure about that. But that's the point, right? They don't want to show people what's actually going on in Gaza anymore because they're like, oh, well, I guess people don't care about that now that we're in war with Iran. But now people are pissed off that we're in a war with Iran, so we gotta kind of remember that thing what I was talking about. You gotta like, punch your fucking leg to make you forget about the thing in your arm, but then that makes you have to punch your other leg, and then you're just like punching yourself repeatedly like a retard. But that's the solution, right? To distract, you need to just distract the public. And with this new entrance into Iran, it's becoming very apparent, that the United States is not as powerful as it pretended to be. Yeah, I guess we kidnapped the Venezuelan president, but what really happened there? We just look like fucking psychopaths. Now we're apparently, we've spent $70 billion bombing Iran. Now apparently we have to spend $300 billion to repair Iran from the damage whatever. That's in the fucking talks or negotiations. And just like, what is happening here? What is happening right now? And I'm sure like a lot of Americans were thinking that, right? And so what do they do? They go to their handy dandy fuck China, right? Fuck China. It all fucking happened at the same time, right? This doll incident, resurfacing of, these cases and all this fucking thing about how Asians are all anti-black, Latasha Harlins, blah, blah, blah. They always bring up Latasha Harlins, the fucking, white liberal, generated fucking propaganda, right? Because like, first of all, like this fucking baby shit, the Korean community didn't fucking protect Sunja-do. They thought, yeah, that's fucked up. No one was like, she should get no sentence. That was due to the black fucking judge. The black judge back then defended Sunja-do because she probably thought it was like a career-making case or whatever. And he, yeah, he was the one that fucking petitioned a white woman judge, Joyce Carlin, for leniency. Same fucking thing. Like, nobody in China is defending this shit, right? Like, yeah, there's like shitty people in China. Guess what? There's shitty people in America. There's shitty black people. There's a lot of them, actually. There's a lot of shitty black American people. I don't know if and don't take my word for it. Take your own word for it. I mean, like, Chris Rock pointed it out. Lots of people pointed out, statistics pointed out. But I understand why that is, right? I understand the history behind it. I understand Jim Crow. I understand the Contra drugs, running drugs in fucking LA and New York. Cocaine, like shipping drugs to black gangs so they could sell you crack. Yeah, I understand all that stuff. But it was black gangs that sold you the crack, right? Am I wrong in saying that? It was your own people who kind of betrayed you. And so, it's just kind of like, that's the other thing too. Most black death in America is from other black assailants, right? Yes, obviously the police thing is not cool. But have you considered kind of like self-reflecting a little bit and stop, blaming random people in Africa that are Chinese, that have nothing to do with Asian Americans for fucking living and existing? Like, it's so funny because they'll bring up like, oh yeah, the white man nuked you and blah blah blah. It's like, that just shows how retarded you are. Most Asian people like that Japan was nuked. Like, only Japan doesn't like that. That like, do you think Asian people are like, oh man, those white people, they nuked Japan. That was I don't like white people now. Like, this is how stupid they are at like conceptualizing fucking Asian diaspora versus Asian American, or like Asians, right? And so that's why I'm gonna probably have to, after I make this fucking WFA mind virus video, I have to make that video. I don't even fucking want to make these videos, right? I just feel like these are things I've been saying and been logically explaining for the longest fucking time, and nobody fucking gets it. Everyone fucking repeats the same fucking bullshit. And then I gotta fucking write 12,000 word fucking dissertations on WF Mindfire. Like, things I don't fucking even want to do. Like, to be very honest, the only reason I'm doing this video, the WMA Find Virus video, is because I know it's going to be a fucking, it's going to be controversial. It's going to raise a lot of eyebrows and get a lot of attention, right? I mean, I guess that's the point of being a content creator, right? You want to just get a lot of attention and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I'm just kind of like, can we move on so we can discuss more interesting phenomena? But I guess we can't move on. So education it is. I gotta pull out the fucking, professor hat. With that. And, because I want to do my fucking second part, the Better Call Saul part, but like, I have no time. Ugh. Anyway, shit. Never saw a normal yellow man, do tell. Then you realize they are actually just plain racist. Like the best of them I know, they didn't say shit. If anything, they may work. I love living. Wait, Richard, did you move there? You're like there for good now? I thought you're not in the Bay Area anymore. Black lawyer too. I have fatigue, bro. I work with a lot of black people. I'm so done with it. Ed Choi, yeah, he is. Well, whatever. Sup, holy cow? How's it going? Checking in, SAR. I knew when I was 16. It's going to be a banger video. What's going to be a banger? Yeah, exactly. Everyone knows. Like, everybody has a fucking opinion on WMAF, and they're all fucking wrong. They're all fucking wrong. They don't even know what they're even talking about. That's the thing I'm fucking annoyed about the most. I just assumed you're one of those might be Dawn. What's Dawn? Might be Dawn? You gotta feed people what they want. Thanks, David Tay. Thank you. When are you gonna get on that influencer channel I told you to make and get millions of dollars and give me 10% since I'm gonna be your manager? Better get on that. Dog. Oh, dog. I cringed on his takes back in KTSC. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a liberal, so whatever. He's never gonna get it. I'm just over it. Because liberals, think about liberals, you know, think about people like Ed Choi or black liberals. They conceptualize American politics as if it's this closed circle. Like, that was the design, in my opinion, of the post-war civil rights movement. You know, after World War II. Because if you examine World War II, right? 1945, right? Before World War II, what was the world like? Well, it was imperialism still, right? British imperialism still controlled, like, you know, 25% of the global population at the time, right? England alone controlled 25% of the population, right? And so they were just fucking looting, destroying, raping, whatever, blah, blah, blah. After the war, what happens? Well, they're weak, right? They had to use up all their shit to get over the hump in Nazi Germany, but also to make sure that Soviets didn't, you know, basically take over all of the continent, right? That was their main motivation, like by doing just enough to be like, see, we oppose the Nazis, but also to ensure that West Germany did not fall into the hands of the Soviet Union. And so that's why they came, you know, right around the time the shit was about to end. You know, 6 months before Hitler kills himself, or 6 or 7 months before Hitler kills himself, they storm the beach of Normandy, and they're like, "We did it, we got it, guys." Right? Anyway, England though can't do shit, right? They want to hold on to their shit, but they're like, well, you know, India was the biggest thing, right? And so there was a lot of Indian soldiers that participated in World War II and World War I. And by then they were like, the fuck is this? We're not going to be your slaves no more. So the English just left, right? And so they had their self-determination, and a lot of African countries also kind of gained their independence during this time in the 1940s, 1950s. Some were bloody, like Algeria. But some, it was just kind of like the imperialists were like, yeah, it's either not economically viable to keep them as colonies, or B, it was like too much of an investment militarily. So that's why they were just kind of like, you know what, let's give them their independence, right? Or let's make them part of the Commonwealth. You know, they made this British Commonwealth thing to turn their colonies into, you know, countries that they're helping on their way to independence, right? But the point is that after World War II, a lot of places were decolonized, just because simply the British and the French no longer had the military capability. I mean, they needed assistance from the United States to try to retake Vietnam, right? And so while this was going all around the world, America's been isolationist for most of its history up to this point, right? The main reason being that they already had a lot of territory, right? Like England or Britain is a small, tiny island. France is France, whatever. America is this huge, vast, expansive area that, has a lot of natural resources. For example, in the 1800s or the late 1800s, when they discovered oil as a energy source, America and Russia were the primary producers of that at the time, and so they had plenty of resources, so they didn't really need to imperialize the rest of the world because they were already imperializing America, right? They were just mowing down Native Americans, and by 1890 they had pretty much gotten rid of most of them, right? At that point, I think less than 1% of the American continent was Native American at the point. Anyhow, so what was going on in America though was they still were racist, right? They still wanted their Jim Crow laws. They still wanted whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the world was changing. The world was kind of especially the Soviet Union, which was kind of oh, you say you're so democratic, but you regularly kill black people without due process. What's up with that? And so that's the main reason the civil rights movement happened. It wasn't just fucking, people refusing to get back in the back of the bus. It wasn't fucking, sitting in restaurants or getting fire hosed by, fucking Southern racists. It wasn't all that shit. You know how I know that? Because you could do all that, Gandhi could do all that shit he wants in India, right? That's who MLK learned this non-violent bullshit from. But what actually got India their independence? It was World War II. It was the Nazis. Literally, India. There is an argument for an Indian person to be grateful for, the Nazis, right? Or some, I said this before, but there were some African people. I remember in South Africa, there was a story that Trevor Noah wrote about in his book, where one of their dance crew team members chose the name Hitler for himself because whenever white people in South Africa talked about Hitler, they'd say it with such fear and he reasoned that anyone who could make the white man afraid is a good person or whatever. And so Trevor Noah goes on to say how they went to some white nursing home or some shit in South Africa to perform some dance thing, and then they were like, "Go Hitler, go Hitler, go." I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Trevor Noah's an imperialist, but that was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. But it's just kind of Black Americans didn't see what the benefit of World War II was, because they didn't get anything, right? They were even told by some people like W.B. Du Bois that fighting the Japanese was bad because the Japanese were fighting the white man. So they even thought that World War II was a bad war because Japan was actually good. Some of them still buy that shit to this day. And yeah, so then obviously in America, if you're top level of government, CIA, knowing propaganda, whatever, you're just kind of all right, we can't let these black people figure out what's going on in the Soviet Union, because that would be a disaster for us, right? You know, you have all these FBI files about, you know, paranoia about a black messiah. You know, they talk about Malcolm X as that, as someone who's going to lead a revolution from within. That was their biggest domestic concern, a revolution from the black American community, because they had the most revolutionary character at the time, obviously, right? Because they were all poor, they were all kind of like, they had the motivation, they had the incentive, they had the, you know, like the you know, yeah, it was like they had not, like Karl Marx says, you have nothing to lose but your chains, right? They resonated with that, obviously. And so what the white liberal was doing during the civil rights movement was that they were making this bubble. They were making this encapsulated bubble of like, no, you guys are American. You guys are just as American as us, and we'll give you civil rights. Just to prove your Americanness, though, just tell your fellow people to all join the military and kill all these Vietnamese people, because these Vietnamese people, they don't like freedom. They don't like democracy. So in order to prove that you're about freedom and democracy and American values, you have to now kill these people. Or not kill these. You have to tell your people that it's actually your patriotic duty to kill these people because they're against democracy. And it worked, right? It was like, you know, it imprints in your mind, kill Asian person, get benefits, see more American, be more American, right? Like if you work out the logic, you know, this imprints a certain sort of like heuristic of like, white man is telling me Asian man is in the way of freedom and democracy. I must kill that Asian man, you know, like, so this extends to the fucking model minority myth, right? In the 1980s, 1990s. That's when the white liberal, in response to that, says, oh, that's because Asians are white adjacent. See, their skin color is a little bit lighter, so, you know, racism doesn't happen to them as much. You know, they try to rationalize it as like, they're only getting these opportunities because they look more white. You know, forget the fact that they're fucking like destroying every fucking person in existence at fucking the SATs and shit, even the fucking whites, right? Forget all that. It's only just because they look white, and, you know, in addition, because of affirmative action, we actually rolled out the fucking white carpet for them, right? You know, like we actually, they actually are even more privileged than white. So, you know, they're kind of in your way for actual racial progress, you know, and they fucking eat that shit up, right? Because it doesn't require them to think about the rest of the world. Like geopolitics now is this comfortable little fucking encapsulated domestic bubble where everything the Asian person does is not only true out there, but it's true here as well. So they've kind of like created this sort of bubble where nothing exists except for America, and then everything that exists outside of America can be used to contextualize anything that's inside America, right? It's like, we get to use all that when it benefits us, but let's just fucking ignore that shit when we were also responsible for helping the white man kill people and genocide people. You know, let's ignore how black people are vastly overrepresented in the military at like 22%, I believe, with 13% of the population, right? Let's say fuck the police, but don't fuck the American International Police, right? Let's only concentrate on how we are being oppressed in America. But if we do the oppressing in other countries with white people, You know, if we go to other countries and kill, you know, these Arabic motherfuckers, these Muslims, you know, that's why all this anti-Muslim shit, you know, is also coming out during this time, right? You have all this, oh, well, Muslim people actually raped and murdered Africans all the time. And they still have, what the fuck? Come on. And they still have African slaves to this day. So you guys shouldn't trust Muslim people. They're actually evil, and they're pedophiles too. You see, like Muhammad, you know, he was getting down and dirty with children and all this other bullshit. And so that's why black people should hate Muslim people, right? It's like always like why black people should hate someone else except for the people that fucking enslave them and actually rape them and bred them for fucking war slaves and, you know, like, you know, did unspeakable fucking shit to them for fucking centuries. Centuries, mind you, right? This wasn't just like, you know, a one-off Natasha doll thing. This was day after day after day after day, centuries. 365, you know, 36,500 days in a year. You know, probably, what was slave trade? Pretty much 1600s to like 1860. So 250 years or so, whatever, right? 250 years times 36,500. That's around 73,000, like 91,000 something, right? You got 91,000 days, 91,000 fucking day after day after day of genocidal fucking shit. 91,000 days. But apparently, because of a fucking doll, because of fucking retards in Africa, all Asians are even worse. Like it's worse. If China takes over, this is your destiny, guys. You're going to get Natasha dolled. And it's like, okay, yes, that's terrible and that's shitty. No one in fucking China is saying cool, right? There are assholes who are like, oh, I like this trend or whatever, blah, blah, blah. First of all, those are, no, I don't know how to say it. XHS Red Note is basically all fucking Chinese women being retarded. Like it's not so that's why it's different from all these other videos of child abuse. Let me rewind. For those of you who don't know what's going on. Here's what's going on. So recently, there's been this controversy because in China, there's these things called Natasha dolls or whatever. They're like dolls of little babies. And they, for whatever reason, I guess the black version was very popular in China. Though I did see other, you know, white and Chinese, you know, dolls as well. You know, it wasn't just exclusive to that. Anyway. They do this thing where they're just kind of like throwing it on the ground and blah, 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 whatever. Kind of like just playing with the doll in kind of like a weird sort of stupid way. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, that's retarded. But sure, right? It's a stupid fucking trend, I guess. Well, the thing is, like, it was just like a niche trend. It's not like all of fucking China is doing this fucking trend. Just like all of fucking America isn't doing a trend like Johnny Somali, right? When Johnny Somali was going on, we were like all of American black people are like Johnny Somali, right? There's just like fucking shitty people. And on top of that, so there was this African lady, I guess, or I think she was Nigerian or whatever, but she like juxtaposed these videos that were happening apparently on TikTok of people in or Chinese people in African countries. You know, they go to these countries to, for the Belt and Road Initiative and all this other stuff. And that they were abusing black children because of this trend. Like, she was trying to connect this trend to this thing or whatever. Only those videos were from 4 years ago. Apparently, 4 years ago, there was this fucking retard named Luke or whatever. I don't know how to say his name. It's Luke or whatever. And he was making all these fucking videos for views and content, whatever. Fucking racist videos. And I guess, China's a big fucking place. It's got 1.4 billion people. Even if 0.1% is 1.4 million people. So even if 0.001%, that's already 14,000 people who can make something fucking go viral because they're fucking lunatic retards. But yeah, sure, there could be, hundreds of thousands of lunatics. But even then, that's fucking 0.1%. It's not everyone. Like, collective punishment is literally the definition of racism, you dumb fucks. And the other thing about that is the Chinese government extradited him back to Malawi. He was convicted, jailed, and then banned, and he was banned from the country afterwards. And then right after that, the Chinese government cracked down on all the fucking social media about Africa. The African streamers had to find a new fucking avenue. They even banned Africa such that, like, good African content was suffering too, right? They were just like, fuck that, you dumb fucks. Not to say that nothing like that exists today, right? Like, I'm saying, like, yeah, obviously something probably still exists like that today. Not saying that Chinese people have learned all their lessons and are all perfect now, but definitely not to the extent of those videos. Those videos were fucking disgusting. Obviously, I condemn that shit 100% of just, like, abusing babies. But the Natasha trend was different, right? When the women are fucking, like, doing the baby shit, that's actually because they're copying African ladies who do the same fucking shit. And it's just kind of like, apparently somebody just found the original video. Okay, let me put this up. So somebody found the original video. They actually had a good time together, also with the parents together, and she also responded to the deceptive editing. It's malicious editing and taking things out of context in an attempt to stir up racial antagonism. So check this out. This is fucking Dom Lucra, right? This is fucking Dom Lucra who's spreading this fucking shit. This guy is Zionist grifting scum. So he's obviously fucking federal operative bullshit nonsense. The other thing is, let's see. The other thing is, God, there's been a lot of engagement on Twitter. It's hard to find some shit. God damn. Oh, I know how to find it. Sorry. So somebody also found this thing. Hold on, let me show it to you just soon enough. Let me just. All right. Oh, whoops. Just. All right. Let me just make this a little bigger. Okay. So this is written. The source is. Let's go to the source first. Strategic consequences of Chinese racism, a strategic asymmetry for the United States. So this was 2013, right? This is by Washington, D.C., the Pentagon. This is actual fucking Pentagon fucking strategy using Chinese racism or the appearance of Chinese racism, right? And so let's see what this has to say. Second, it allows the United States to undermine China and the Third World. The essence of Chinese message of Third World states is a straightforward rhetorical query. Has the United States or the Europeans ever treated you as equals? In contrast, China portrays itself as an apolitical, rising superpower that does business in your country, pays a fair price for your commodities, and builds your infrastructure with no strings attached. The United States needs to counter the expansion of Chinese influence by tying to the message stated above, but adding the important point that there is no culture of anti-racism in China. White people saying that Chinese people are racist, basically. And so there's little hope for change. They're basically saying Chinese people don't change and they're racist. They're always going to be racist. Messages may be advanced along the following line. The West confronted racism and developed a strong culture of anti-racism. China has not, nor is it likely to do so. See, and this hides two facts, right? First of all, it was the Soviet Union who forced America to confront its racism, right? It wasn't fucking out of the goodness of their heart. It was, hey, help us kill these fucking Viet gooks with us and you get more fucking rights. That's number one, right? Number two, how does it know? How does it know that China has no, hope for whatever? First of all, it has a much better policy with its own minorities, right? With Tibetans or Uyghurs. No matter how much they try to fucking lie about that shit, their treatment of their minorities is like infinitely better than our treatment of our minorities. We just try to genocide them and destroy their languages. The Native Americans are very familiar with that. And like the 91,000 days of fucking rape and murder and exploitation, like I said before, right? So we don't have 91,000 days of doing that to black people. We might have like a few days of this fucking Tasha thing that wasn't even a thing that, white people blow up and make a thing. But, okay. Second, the United States should highlight that Chinese business practices are destructive. There often is considerable resentment towards Chinese due to their ruthless business practice, which undercut and destroy African businesses. Combination of the two message. China is a racist with no culture of anti-racism. Their businesses practice are destructive for the locals. Business practices are destructive for the locals. Is that true? So this is Ethiopia, apparently, today. This is terrible this is such... China is so anti-black. Look at this. This is anti-blackness distilled into one picture. I can't believe the anti-blackness Chinese people are, Anyway, moving on to the next point. Third, it is an obvious point, but it must be made. The Chinese are hypocrites when it comes to race and racial equality. For all their rhetoric on African and their African brothers, the cold facts of Chinese racism triumphs to third world solidarity. Doesn't just fucking vibes. Just says they're just racist. It's obvious. It's obvious, right? No stats, no proof, no evidence. Just take our word for it, black people. And unfortunately, that works, because guess what? A lot of black people are in the military, and they're going to be like, "Oh, Well, my white military leader said so, so I should tell the rest of my community that they're racist. Fourth, the message of the United States should be, we are better than the Chinese for Africa. We will assist you with economic aid to offset what you receive from China. In some culturally, politically, blah, 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 civil rights are recognized. I mean, we all know about AFRICOM. We all know about the higher rates of interest for American loans. We all know about loan forgiveness from China. This is all planned. This is all their plan. This is all their... They know they can't win materially, so they have to resort to fucking lies and propaganda, right? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, but this is the most important part, right? Calling attention to Chinese racism allows political and ideological alliances in the United States to be strengthened. Political alliances, particularly with the third world states, are an obvious benefit. I wonder why that might be an obvious benefit to the United States. I thought we hated third world, right? I thought Americans hated the third world. Why are they an obvious benefit? Could the benefit come from, oh, I don't know, exploitation and imperialism? Equally important are the ideological alliances that the United States may augment. Intellectual circles in Europe, Canada, and the United States value we gotta fucking cater to the woke fagging, you know? We got a woke fag. Blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, this was made in 2013, right? This is like if you go back to my wokenomics video, it basically starts around 2012, 20 whatever. So CIA has kind of been cooking this shit for the past decade or so, right? And so the other thing too that I learned is that the Natasha doll came from Japan first. Let me show you guys. All right, so old recycled Uyghur genocide in China and Africa are bad propaganda, are pushed again by the Epstein regime. They're paying influencers and sock puppet accounts to spread it, like Dom Lucre, right? They ignited it with an old trend started by Japan, squishy stress relief dolls, and trying to twist it. I knew I kind of like recognized this thing. I was like, where? I feel like I've seen that before. And then Tokyo's latest obsession, stress relief dolls. Japan's always known for its quirky stuff. Catches your eyes. So this was apparently in 2024. A good 2 years before this whole fucking Natasha thing started, right? And there's another one here, May 10th, 2024. Edamame in Japan. Japan's squishy stress relief toy, right? Yeah, it's a little weird, right? It's a little fucking weird. And then what happened recently? Right? Japan is in talks with creating their own intelligence agency with the CIA is going to create it, but they're saying that Japan needs to have its own, right? But really it's fucking just Japanese agents working under the CIA functionally. And so what happens, right? Just a couple weeks after they announced that shit, you got this Japanese fucking doll showing up all of a sudden and fucking thing, and you have fucking people from videos from 4 years ago and being just like actual criminal videos that have already been prosecuted 4 years ago being juxtaposed with this trend. And you have other fucking black influencers like Dom Lucre, a fucking Zionist piece of shit, taking these videos out of context. This is a fucking psyop. 100%. And it's just kind of like, you know what annoys me the most? You know what annoys me the most? All of these non-Asian quote unquote Marxists, right? Who see this shit. They're all seeing this shit going on. Like, don't fucking tell me you're not seeing this shit. They are seeing black people being fucking genocidally racist to Asian people right now. You know, all these black people are being like, yeah, start Asian hate. Like, yeah, I never agreed with stop Asian hate. Yeah, you never agreed with stop Asian hate because you were the ones fucking doing the hate, you dumb fucks. But then you don't see any white fucking Marxist, any fucking Latino fucking Marxist, you know, any fucking anything that's not Asian Marxist. You even fucking see Asian people who are on the fucking other side too, like fucking retards. And it's like, you know what? You know what? I'm happy though. Cuz it tells me that I was right. It tells me that I was right about all these fucking phony pieces of shit. They all see Asian people. They all see China, these Marxists, these fucking non-Asian Marxists, the Imperial Core. They all see fucking China as an idea, as a fucking concept, as not a subject that has any individuality at all. We are just all a fucking mindless Borg that all does the same. They actually fucking probably even believe some of this shit. Oh wait, maybe Chinese people are racist. Oh man, that kind of sucks. You know, they don't even fucking investigate these claims to be like, wait a second, that's not right. That's a little inconsistent with what's going on right now. And it's just kind of like, it's so fucking, you know, disgusting, you know, because they're all like trying to be, you know what the most disgusting part is? These fucking entitled pieces of shit, when they complain about why China doesn't take them seriously, like when some of these parties, they're like, oh, why isn't China taking us seriously? We're the vanguard party, blah blah blah. It's like, cause they can fucking sense it. Asian people, we're not fucking stupid, you dumb fucks. We can tell when you don't give a shit about us. We can tell when you're trying to use us. We can tell when you have nothing to offer and want everything to gain, you know? We're not fucking stupid like you. Because you're a fucking whiteoid. You're an entitled whiteoid piece of shit that thinks China should do all the heavy lifting for you. When you haven't done any fucking lifting yourself, not only for yourselves, but for any Asian people outside of, like, you know, glazing whoever fucking comes onto your, you know, podcast or whatever, right? You don't care about Asian people as a people. And that's so fucking obvious. And these black Marxist creators, get the fuck out of here. Like fucking Noble QLE. That guy's a fucking liberal clown. I saw that motherfucker lives in China, and he was like amplifying the Natasha thing as if, you know, Chinese people need to be fucking, you know, taught a lesson or some shit. He didn't contextualize it. He wasn't like, oh, this is because of blah, 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 whatever, blah. He's just fucking living in China, living his best life in fucking safe-ass China, and not saying anything about it. That's how we know he's a fucking phony. These black Marxists, white Marxists, they're all fucking phony pieces of shit. It's just, I'm just tired. I'm just, you know, I did this already in 2020 and 2021. You know, most of you guys might not have seen that era, but it was definitely my long march. Okay, I don't like going on long marches. It's not fun. I've made a lot of fucking long marches. You know, I was betrayed by every fucking person in the world. And for 2 years, I didn't fucking bend, right? And did they come to me hat in hand saying that they were wrong the entire time? Of course not. No one did that. And when the same thing, the same exact fucking phenomenon is happening again, where are they? This entire time, they were like, Asian hate, that wasn't a thing, blah, 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 you're exaggerating, etc., whatever. Now it's back, and it's even more fucking ridiculous and retarded than before, right? Because, like, in the chaos of China virus and Black Lives Matter, you could be like, okay, maybe people were just too crazy and upset, blah, 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 whatever, blah, blah. But everyone can see the logical inconsistency of trying to kill Asian American people for what is going on in Africa with Chinese nationals. Like, it's not a complicated leap of logic to understand how retarded that is. Yet, it's always Doug's the crazy one for being obsessed about race. Why is he so obsessed about race? Why is he so obsessed about the WMF mind virus? Why is he so obsessed with black people? Why is he so obsessed? Shut the fuck up, you dumb fucking whiteoid piece of shit. You are so fucking retarded, out of your depth. This is why China will never fuck with you, you dumb fucks. God. White Marxists are pieces of fucking shit. No, there is not a single white Marxist I fucking trust. That's the fucking truth. A white successful Marxist has never existed. The only successful Marxists were Asian. Or Wasian, right? Stalin and Lenin were both Wasians. Kalmyk and Georgian, right? Of course, those West Asian, right? But Kalmyk is a little bit more East Asian, more Central Asian. But it was kind of like Kazakhstan, right? That's kind of like Kalmyk is very similar to that. And so what happened after Khrushchev took over? Just all fucking went to shit. That fucking Ukrainian whiteoid, right? Ho Chi Minh, Mao Zedong, Kim Il-sung, all three Asians. What happened in Europe? Stalin. That's the biggest mistake Stalin made. Prioritizing Europe over Asia. I'm like, that was retarded, bro. Look how many fucking, Asian countries. If you had fucking made the Soviet Union concentrate on Asia, the fucking revolution would be over right by now, They would have fucking turned, Indonesia. If they had turned Indonesia, it would have been GG. It would have been fucking GG. But they didn't even fucking do anything. They were focused on fucking whiteoid shit in Germany and all this fucking nonsense. Just be like, no. Whiteoids are not going to fucking get it. They're fucking too retarded. Once the Americans got the fucking whiteoids with money and the Marshall Plan, it was fucking over. You need to pivot to fucking Asia. But they didn't. Because they're whiteoids and they're retarded. Especially after Stalin died, right? Because he died in 1953, soon after the Cold War. I mean, before the Korean War even ended. And then what do the fucking whiteoids do? They just do all this whiteoid nonsense like the Cuban Missile Crisis and fucking bullshit that doesn't do anything. Anyhow. I'm just over it. I mean, obviously I was over it 5 months ago. I don't think I'd ever joining a communist party ever again in America. I might start a communist party. That's, like I said before on stream last time. I might start a Marxist-Leninist party. But I got to figure out how to even do that logistically. Or even if it's even fucking worth it, Part of me is just kind of like, you know what? all I can do to help people in the Asian American community now. Maybe a revolution is too late. Maybe it's not possible. So the best I can do is to educate Asian American peoples on their history and what's going on. That's why I'm making the WMA5 video, right? People just need to know their fucking history. And then, you know, they can make an informed decision on what to do with the rest of their lives. If they want to stick around in the Nazi country or leave, right? I feel like that's all I can do at this point. I just, you know, kudos to the CIA. Kudos to you guys. You know, you guys won. All right, I'm giving you the W. So you don't have to fuck up my streams anymore. Take the W and leave my fucking streams. It's just, you know, America is just, it's not even about white, black, whatever in America. It's just like anyone who is just American is just too far gone. You know, the propaganda worked. That's the best thing America is good at, right? They were skilled at it, right? They were trained in it. They got a lot of insight from Jewish people who are also working with British people, who are also, some of them were also working with German people, making propaganda. I saw something about, like, you know, how apparently people are still like, Ukraine can't be Nazi. Zelensky is Jewish, and is like, and I was just kind of like, you know, that Emil Morris, Hitler's personal driver, was Jewish, actually. Don't know if people knew that, but he was number 2 in the SS. So, yeah, it doesn't mean shit, because there were also Jewish members of the Wehrmacht. But hey, I don't know. All right, let's see some of these comments. Oh, you moved to Ho Chi Minh City? Oh, nice. Well, congratulations, Richard. Maybe I will hit you up if I ever go to Vietnam. What time is it in Vietnam? It's 10 a.m. Oh, tuning in early. Tuning in. It's 8:30. Or I guess my thing starts at 8:30 a.m. for you. But thank you for the support from Vietnam. Let's see. I don't want that smoke. Next thing you know, Ed Choi. Yeah, I don't really care about, like, smoke. You know how I do. Like, people need to be careful about putting smoke my way. I don't think there's anyone who's ever fucking tried it with me and has not regretted it at least a little bit, right? I don't think there's anyone who's, you know, tried to take me down that has not fucking, you know, been damaged in the process. Like, I make sure you get fucked up if you try it with me. So that's on purpose, right? That's to prevent people. As I say all this, somebody wrote, highly recommend moving to China and totally giving up on the despicably evil U.S. And I'm like, you know what? Can't say I didn't try, right? Can't say I didn't try to make it work here. Can't say I didn't try to rally the Asian American community, didn't try to warn them, didn't try to do anything, didn't try to say all this shit over and over again, didn't try to fucking make all this as clear as possible, right? You can't say that it didn't fucking give it the old college try. Founding father. So Gamer Jame on Twitch says the founding fathers gave us everything we needed to ensure we didn't end up Bill of Rights, blah, blah, blah. We're going to throw it all away, pretend we don't see what's happening to us as we speak. Communist scum. Oh, thanks. It's funny how, like, it's funny how Twitch works. I wonder how people even find my stream. Somebody wrote, no, solidarity is impossible and Asians should just kill themselves. That's the truth, and it's so much more productive. That's the other thing, too. Like, what do these black people want? What do they want? Like, for Asian American people to be like, oh, yeah, that was fucked up. Yeah, that was fucked up. What else do you want? You want us to... They think that, like, you know, their AfroZionism is such that during the woke era, you know, especially after, you know, Black Panther came out in 2018 and Joe Biden wins in 2020 and, you know, past 2020 to 2024 was when woke was the norm and racists were getting killed or racists were getting their comeuppances. And as long as you called out shit, people were going to get unracified, like, because everyone was anti-black. And, you know, there was no other racism that existed. It was just only anti-blackness, you know, anti-Asianness. That's not a thing. You know, black people can't be racist to Asians. Anti-Hispanic stuff, whatever. That's not even the thing either. We're not going to even talk about that. Who cares? You know, especially not this anti-Muslim stuff because Muslim had, you know, black slaves before in Africa. And so, you know, it's all in this 2020 to 2021 to 2025, I guess, was the Biden administration. It's this time where everything, you just call out shit and you get, you know, this dopamine hit of like, yeah, I'm stopping racism. I'm blah, blah. And so you just like fucking like, you know, you spend all your entire fucking life, you're unemployed fucking retarded asses online, you know, not even trying to find work, right? Because this is your work, right? Dom Lucre especially, right? Dom Lucre, fucking grifter. This is his job, to just fucking and then probably work for Zionists at the end of the day as well, you know. They just like get this fucking reward. They've been rewarded for so long of just saying like, that's anti-black, that's anti-black. Oh yeah. It's the same thing as fucking Zionism. That's anti-Semitic, that's anti-Semitic. Give me millions of dollars. And it worked. Well, it worked for the Jews. So black people are like, it can work for us too now, huh? You know, that's what the Jews taught them during the civil rights movement. Fucking Zionists. They were all fucking Zionists during the civil rights movement. Controlling the NAACP. Because guess what? All the lawyers, all the civil rights lawyers and people, they were all Jewish. You guys know that? All the fucking civil rights lawyers of the civil rights movement. Because black people weren't allowed to be lawyers back then, right? Or they you know. So you have these nice Jewish Zionists being all protective of these, you know, poor black people who couldn't take care of themselves. That's why black people feel fucking, I guess, you know, they attribute their allyship to Jews when they really should be attributing their allyship to the Asians they killed for their liberty and their freedom and equality with white people. But in a way, it makes sense, right? In order to be an American, you need to kill people. That was essentially, you know, it's actually an honest moment of the American government. If you want to be an American, Proud to be an American. You gotta kill people for us, right? Because at the end of the day, America is just a fucking pirate ship taking resources from all over the fucking world. And if you want to be part of this country, you gotta pitch in and kill some motherfucking gooks, you know? That's what it was. That's what it fucking was. Yet we're the ones that suck up to whites, right? Forget the fact that we fucking fought the whites. Forget the fact that they've threatened to nuke us 20 fucking billion times because we were resisting. We were the only fucking people resisting. What were your fucking African leaders doing that entire time? Why were they resisting? Because they were corrupt. They were taking payouts. None of them were fucking had a backbone. The ones that did, you helped kill them. It was your people who helped the CIA kill your own fucking revolutionaries. And you're saying that we suck up to the white man? Are you fucking retarded? I just don't. This is why I don't start Instagram. Too many assholes to bring you down. Well, you just have to make money, David. Don't care about that. Just block or mute the assholes. Got to give it to Whitey. And that's why you don't do... That's why I'm not telling you to do political shit on Instagram. If you just stick to the fucking influencer shit, nobody will care. Because you don't have anything offensive to say. You're just influencing. And, you know, whatever. Whoops. Let's see. Gotta give it to Whitey. They killed that shit real good. When I first heard the term, I was like, what the fuck is that shit? Give it some more time before America runs. They are largely, and may Allah forgive me for saying this, buck broken. I heard that term before, and I kind of know the FBA people talking about that shit too. But I also learned about it as I'm researching the WMAF mind virus video. Yeah, that it's just, I mean, that is what it is. I mean, like, Kanye is not wrong. Like, at the end of the day, the Civil War was fought by white people, right? It's like 250 years. A quarter of a millennia. You know? Toussaint Louverture, he handled business in Haiti, right? But I don't know. There is, I guess, like, differences in... That's why, you know, I don't subscribe to this everything is racist if you point out a characteristic of a people, right? Because by that token alone, black Africans are very different behaviorally from black Americans, correct? But you wouldn't calling, you know, any sort of specific behavior to black Americans versus black Africans. You wouldn't call that racist because it literally isn't. You're just saying a difference between two different groups of black people. And we've kind of, like, again, with this fucking, you know, civil rights movement nonsense bullshit, that kind of flattens a lot of that too, right? Because it's also kind of like, okay, why is the Hmong, you know, poor Hmong American guy having to do so much more in his academic stuff than the rich, privileged black student? Can you explain that disparity? No, you can't. You You can't with just skin color, right? You know? Because that's the issue. Because back then you could. Back then, in the 1960s, when it was mostly just white and black people. Because they had not, at that time, categorized Hispanic people as white. Or Hispanic, rather. They were all just white. Because there was also not that many, like, Hispanic-looking Hispanic people. Most of them were white, right? Or, you know, they had some, mestizo admixture. But they're kind of like, you know, white Mexicans, right? Like yes, they are technically Hispanic, but, you know, they run the shit in Mexico City, right? The whiter you look, the more power privilege you have in Mexico, right? So those were, they didn't categorize that. So basically, anyone who was black was pretty much poor. So back then, it worked, right? Because that was the fucking norm in 1965. But now that things have kind of changed, you know, like maybe think about how we can make this work a little bit more fairly, you know? But it's like, no, fuck that. We were here first. We're the minorities that fought for civil rights. It's AfroZionism, right? We're the ones that got, you know, the most white supremacy upon us. So all you other minorities, you need to get in line. Get in the back of the line, you know. Forget the fact that we won all this shit by killing Asian people. Forget that. Forget the fact that we're responsible during the pandemic for over 50% of violent crime against Asian people. There was 30% for white people, but we all know that that's mostly domestic violence and WMAF couples, right? I mean, I kid a little bit, but I would suspect that at least 50% of that figure is WMAF couples. I would suspect. Not 100% confident, but I would suspect. And the reason why that's significant is because, you know, most violent crime is with people you already know, right? Like, domestic violence is the most violence people experience in their actual lives. And as we know, Asian women don't fucking marry black men. So there you go. That 30%, most of that is just fucking domestic violence probably. But the 50% for black people, now that is probably random fucking acts of hate crime, right? Like I got this retard in my mention, like seeing that number, right? You know, usually they try to be like, that's not real, blah, 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 statistics, FBI's white supremacy or bullshit, whatever. This guy accepted the premise that over 50% of violent crime against Asian people were from black assailants in 2021. He accepted that premise and said, how do you know they were race crimes? How do you know it wasn't just a guy who was going to kill another black guy? Well, first of all, as I said before, black on black crime is the highest, or you would expect any like racial crime to be the highest with their own crime, because usually crimes are from people you actually know in real life, right? Like if you're violent, right? Usually personal, unless you're a gang member. But even in that case, there's a lot of obviously black on black crime, right? Because that's what gangs do. But anyway, you'd expect more black on black crime because they just know each other. So you're telling me that, you know, oh, how do you know it wasn't just this, you know, black guy trying to kill a random black guy or whatever in the mix, and it just happened to kill an Asian person by mistake, I guess, or he just wanted to kill someone And instead of, killing someone in the hood, because, like, he was just going to kill a random person that day. Instead of someone killing someone in the hood, he just goes to the Asian community and kills someone there. Because, people just are, people are these rational figures that just kill people based on, I don't know. It's just like some stupid fucking logic that didn't even make fucking sense. And it's just like, no, there's no, you know what? Maybe there is no helping, maybe this is, maybe I'm sounding a little doomer, black pilled or whatever. But, it's like there's no fucking hope. And then we have fucking goons from Japan, obviously. Goons from fucking India. Goons from fucking Hong Kong and Taiwan, obviously. Just trying to amplify this shit as much as possible, like pieces of shit. I'm just kind of like, you know what? Maybe we fucking just need World War III. You know what? Fucking bring it. Fucking bring World War III. You know what I mean? Seems like we just gotta just, it's like at the end of fucking Star Wars 2, the second episode, when Count Dooku is like, they're trying to like force shit their way against each other, and it's like, it looks like this contest can only be decided by the skill of a lightsaber. It's just like, let's get down to fucking business, right? Seems like you just want to fucking go to town. Seems like this is the only thing that's gonna fucking make you realize you're gonna get fucked, right? Like, mind you, obviously, I don't know. It's just like, if that's what you want, I think like I think Western Marxists are living in a dream world. They don't realize, ever since the Soviet Union, especially ever since the Soviet Union fell 35 years ago. 35 years ago. The CIA has been working. They've been working. They know Marxism more than Americans, or American Marxists do. They've tried to plug every single contingency they could. And they're successful for a reason. They have all the fucking cards. They have all the fucking data. They know how to manipulate people at scale. This was the whole DARPA initiative with the internet. And, in QTEL in the 1990s with Google and Facebook. And all these other different startups, like, it wasn't just Google and Facebook, probably. It was like, it was like MySpace, Friendster, anything that had a chance to blow up in the internet, they had a hand in, right? They had their hands in the cookie jar. Because they knew that the internet was a conduit of information. And more information is bad for the empire. The more information people have about reality and about history is bad for the empire. And so they knew that they needed to control that early. So they've been developing all of these propaganda tactics at scale for the past 35 years. They're already adept at it. They're so much more adept at it than we can possibly even imagine. Which is why I'm just kind of like, you guys are so out of your depth. it's just kind of like you guys think that you're even comparable to China. That's the arrogance that gets me. Like, especially if fucking whiteoid leftists critique China, I'm just kind of like, you are out of your depth. You do not know what you're fucking talking about. Like, these are people that had to deal with nuclear antagonisms. From not just America, from the Soviet Union as well, right? That's another reason I don't fucking trust the white-oid Marxist. They're fucking retarded chauvinist racists. The Soviet Union literally tried to nuke China because China was like, you guys are fucking retarded, white-oids. You guys betrayed Stalin. You guys betrayed your own legacy. You just want to cater to the white-oid. And they were right? But the Soviet Union hated China for calling them out for that. China called out the Soviet Union for being a bunch of white-oid fucks that weren't doing it right. And the Soviet Union thought they were wrong. And guess what? The white-oid was wrong and the Asian was right? That's what we saw. That's what we saw happen. Because in 1980, even fucking the United States thought the Soviet Union was right, was correct over China, as in being the leader, right? Or it should be the leader of the communist movement. Even America agreed with that logic, right? You know why I know that? Because America didn't consider China to be a potential threat when they made deals with them in 1979. They were like, you know what? Right now, the threat is the Soviet Union, and this is kind of a win. They're gonna, like these Russians, they're gonna be addicted to McDonald's and Coca-Cola, and we're gonna change them too eventually. But for the meantime, we got to get rid of this big beast, the Soviet Union, because they're the white-oid Marxists, and they're probably going to succeed if we don't do anything about it. And so Deng Xiaoping, it's kind of like funny because Malcolm X talks about this too in his biography. He talks about how he uses, racism against the white man, right? Like when he was a hustler, sometimes like when a police person came, he like pretended to play dumb or whatever. And the police would be like, oh, he's just an idiot or whatever. And he would just use their racism against them to get out of situations like that or some shit. The same thing I feel like Deng Xiaoping did a little bit. He was like, you know what? They don't think we're that big of a threat, so maybe we could just make these deals, hide our strength, bide our time. And when the time is right, we say, if you want to throw down, we could fucking throw down. We're not firing the first shot though. That's up to you, right? And so, what do I conclude? I conclude that I guess that's my conclusion is leading to my two positions, right? A, either preparing to get the fuck out of here, which I might start doing once I'm back in New York, or B, if I do stay here, I would want to create a party with Asian Americans, right? Because Asians just fucking get it done. It's the fucking truth. It's been the fucking truth for the past 50 to 60 to 70 years now, right? Like, whose GDP, during my fucking video, apparently GDP from Asia in 1945 was around 5%. 5% of the global total came from fucking Asia. East and Southeast Asia. You know what it is today? It's around 35%. 35% of the global economy now comes from It might be 30%. 30 to 45% now comes from China or Asia, East Asia, and Southeast Asia. People don't realize how fast of a fucking growth that is. Like, especially non-Asian minority people, they think that we were just like fucking whites the entire time, and we were privileged, we had money, we just like, we're these foreigners who just came to America to get more rich, I guess, even though we're already rich apparently, and all we do is worse stuff than white people, right? I don't fucking know. So yeah, I guess that's the conclusion, right? That's the conclusion. The conclusion is that it's either get the fuck out of Asia, or get the fuck out and go back to Asia. Go back to Asia, right? Or it is join an Asian American party. Those are the only really two political options. Because guess what? It's not getting better. Like, everyone who thinks it's gonna normalize again or whatever, it's not. Everyone who thinks, oh, the good old times when my parents were back in the 90s, they made it work and whatever, and they weren't even that rich, whatever, blah, blah. I should be able to make it work. No, times have fucking changed, man. Times have fucking changed. We are going through a Nazi transition right now. There's plenty of Jews in Nazi Germany who actually didn't realize until it was too late that they were going to be targeted, right? There were German Jews who had been in Germany, lived there for many, many, many generations, consider themselves German, right? It really wasn't until the 1900s when race scientists started to come up with the idea that Jews were not white. That concept first developed in the 1900s. Up to that point, it was all just a religious fucking conflict. But in the 1900s, they racialized Jewishness, right? And so, for the most part, a lot of German Jews never considered themselves anything other than German. Like, even Albert Einstein, he was like, I was not aware that I was not a German but a Jew until Hitler told me so. And so those German Jews, they stuck around. They were like, oh, Hitler you know what Hitler's talking about? Those fucking Russian Jews from the 1880s, or those Polish Jews that came like during the fucking pogroms that were happening. Ugh, they're fucking annoying. Why did they come here? Ugh, God, I hate them too. They all came westward from Russia. Ugh, God, Hitler's right. Fuck those Jews, right? That's what the German Jew was thinking. And then when he was shipped off to the concentration camps, he was like, oh, fuck. That was not the right message. That's going to be Asian Americans, man. Fool me once, right? We already got Japanese already got interned wrongly. And they interned the wrong Japanese, too. That's the largest insult. Most of the spies were in fucking Hawaii. And though they interned some Hawaiians, they didn't intern the whole thing because they needed them for war production. So they let most of the Japanese work in Hawaii, even though there was evidence of spies there. And, there was actually spies during Pearl Harbor that were trying to aid the fucking... They didn't know about the mission, but once it was happening, they tried to help the Japanese on Hawaii. But the Californian Japanese, they had nothing to do with that shit. They were already, they were coming since the late 1800s, early 1900s. So they were a couple generations in. But the California farmers lobbied the Roosevelt administration because they were getting their asses kicked. So it's just kind of like the same thing. Sup, Imperious Hungaroo. He's on Twitch. Same thing can happen to fucking us, right? And the sick thing about it is that they are trying to recruit the black lumpenproll class to do the fucking SA work, right? The stormtroopers in Nazi Germany, they were a lot of poor, disaffected young men, right? They were either people who fought in the war and were pissed off, because now Germany is not only poor, but what did they sacrifice all that for, right? And so they had a terrible fucking existence. They were all these young, impressionable men, and they were convinced by this homosexual painter that their problem were these Jewish people, right? That the Jews like betrayed us. They made us lose the war, first of all. Then they made us pay all these reparations to France. Then they destroyed Russia because, communists are destroying Russia. And now they're going to destroy us too. They're going to actually be communist here, and they try to destroy us. That's what Hitler fucking said to them, right? So what can we say about the white Jewish liberal Zionist who's doing the same fucking shit to us, right? They're saying, I know you're poor and black and racism sucks, blah blah blah, but you know who's really your problem? It's not white liberals. Don't attack the white liberal. We gave you civil rights, right? We're not the Republicans, right? We got you Obama, right? Who's really in your way? It's actually these Asian Americans. Actually, China too. China. We were able to solve racism. Actually, we acknowledged that we were racist, and we got through it. Right? We're good to you guys. I mean, maybe yeah. Obviously, the Republicans. We hate them too, right? We don't like those white people. But you can trust us. We're the good whites. TM, right? Trademark. We're the good whites. So who's really your people? Oh, I know you're suffering. You're not really fucking benefiting from any of the civil rights bills or whatever materially. All of the fucking gains from the civil rights movement went to black bourgeoisie, who don't give a shit about you, obviously, and who obviously don't give a shit about Gaza. But you know what? That is your problem is these Asian Americans and China. Like, if China takes over, that's your fate, guys. Like, yeah, we might have been shitty to you in the past, but we ain't shitty anymore. Those people, they're gonna kill you again. They're gonna do what we did. It's the same fucking shit. Hitler was pitching to the poor white, young German in Nazi Germany. And the same fucking shit. The white liberal Jewish Zionist is appealing to the black lumpenproll person. Doesn't have a job. Is angry about life. Angry about being poor and black. And never mind the fact that these liberal institutions of power never really hire black people anyway, like in banking or finance or tech or whatever. Never mind the fact that in any actual position of power, they don't really hire black people in mass, right? Never mind all of that shit. Yeah, we got you Obama. Yeah, we got Karen Bass. Yeah, we got Eric Adams. Like, never mind the fact that none of them do any shit for black people in those cities. It's these Asians that are the problem, see? If you killed all these Asians, life would be good. Life would be great for you guys. You know, kill all these immigrant Asian diasporoids who don't even deserve to be. You built this country, guys. Black Americans, you built this country. So you need to kill these Asian people for us. These Muslims, that enslaved you. These Asians that make these dolls and, abuse your children. You need to actually kill them in order to gain your freedom. This has been the fucking line since the Civil Rights Movement. It's been the fucking line. It's like, I keep saying it, and nobody fucking sees it. It's just, like, so fucking obvious. And, I don't know. Holy cow, what's a Natasha doll? Well, looks like you looked it up. Yes, it is a black-looking doll. What up, Yellow Knights, Sub Wi-Fi. Zio Africans probably don't give a shit, just like OG Zio Jews. That's the thing, too. Like, I found out, like, this was actually so while the Natasha throwing the doll on the thing or whatever, that's obviously messed up and fucked up. I don't even know what's going on with that. But playing around with the baby in that way or whatever in Africa, that was actually an African custom. It's like already they're just copying them. Like, yes, obviously it's probably not culture, like they're being fucking retarded autistically about it, but it's not like out of malice. They're just trying to like copy fucking what when in Rome, when in fucking Nambia, whatever, when in Malawi, when in fucking Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Nigeria, do as the natives do, right? And a lot of those things, the babies are having like fun. Like, again, not all of them. Some of them are fucked up. I'm not saying that some of them were not fucked up. It was like, especially the ones from 2022. But that's the thing. It's not the same thing. That's the thing. That's the same shit this fucking white liberals pulled during the LA riots, right? Because the Harlan's murder was in South Central. Nothing to fucking do with Rodney King. Right? But they got everyone amped up with Rodney King because that was on TV. Everyone saw that shit because this was like someone happened to record this on video camera during the time in 1992. Like some private recorder for whatever reason saw this happening and fucking recorded the Rodney King beating. And 2 weeks prior, was it 2 weeks prior? It might have been 2 weeks after. I'm not sure exactly, but around the same same month or so, the Sunjadu incident happens with Latasha Harlins. But the media knew what they were doing, right? They put both of them back to back together the entire fucking time, and then the week before the riots, on all of the black hip-hop radio stations, they were like, we gotta do something about it. And they were talking about Latasha Harlins. They weren't talking about Rodney King. We gotta do something about this Harlins thing. Because not only that, they scheduled, because like Latasha or the Sunjadu case, they had reached a verdict already months before the verdict for the Rodney King thing. But the DA for Simi Valley, or the DA of LA, this case was in Simi Valley, the LAPD case, right? So they tried the LAPD case in Simi Valley, and then they tried the other case somewhere else, right? And so this same DA is both saying that, you know, he was all about like how racist this crime was, you know, the Sunjadu thing, blah blah blah, whatever. But then he makes the LAPD case happen in Simi Valley, right? Simi Valley is a little bit west of whatever, where I think it happened in Northridge, but it was west and north of where the actual crime happened. And you know where Simi Valley is? Simi Valley is a whole bunch of LAPD people and a lot of white people. So of course that jury was going to fucking like let that LAPD officer go scot-free. But then meanwhile, he's saying, look how compassionate I am with the black community. Like, yeah, that was so messed up. And they put the fucking appeal case a week before the Rodney King decision. And that's why the radio stations were fucking talking about Latasha Harlins every fucking day after that appeals hearing, where the conviction or the non-conviction was basically upheld, right? And so this is the same shit where they're trying to take this 2022 messed up fucking criminal shit. Everyone agreed that was messed up. It was prosecuted. The guy was fucking sent to jail, and he was banned. He was fucking, you know, banned from the country, right? And then they cracked down on all these fucking African Chinese influencers, telling them to stop doing that fucking shit, right? But again, it's just like, yeah, like, if an American fucks up, which happens all the fucking time, do you blame all Americans for that thing? No. Everyone's like, no. But why wouldn't you? Because you're saying that all Chinese people, they're not even saying all Chinese, they're saying all Asian people, which is the fucking craziest shit in the world. And I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm fucking sick and tired of this shit. Like, do you not see how fucking retarded you are? You know? Like, this is the very definition of racism. You are judging an entire fucking 30% of the global population. They all behave in a certain way because of a few fucking influencers. This is a very fucking definition of racism. And it's the same thing as Zionism, right? They're saying all these 2 billion Muslims, they're all this one way because, you know, make them all this shit about Muhammad or whatever, right? I'm just sick and tired. It's just the same fucking bullshit. The black liberal / lumpenprole are the same class. Bourgeois and lumpenprole. They have the same culture, which is, you know, Diddy, Epstein, hip-hop bullshit, lumpenprole bullshit, nonsense. And they are just the black lumpenprole is the SA, and the black liberal is the SS of the American Nazi Party. That's just how it is. That's how I see it. Of course, still the white people are still at top. You know, this is just the SS and the SA, right? They're just the stormtroopers and the shock troops. But you know, obviously the Hitler and the cabinet are, you know, Satan Yahoo and anyone in that realm of whatever. But as far as the domestic policy goes, that's the American Liberal Party is a Nazi party, right? They're largely, what? Fred note is Shanghainese dominant. You have retarded Chinese shitting on North Korea. It's fascinating to see. They're just dolls. What about real people? That's the rub, right? It's like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up, but are we just gonna pretend like? that's a crazy thing. It's like all these black fucking like wannabe grifter influencers on fucking X right now trying to be like, black people never did anything to anyone else. Like, oh, this is so bad. Like, why do Asian people hate us so much? It's like just kind of like black people didn't do anything to anyone else, right? In 1867, 2 years after the fucking Civil War, you joined up with the fucking whites to fucking massacre all the natives out of the fucking country. That's what you did. That's what you fucking did. And you say you didn't do anything to anyone else and you never sucked up to the white man. What are you fucking talking about? You guys were the first people. Malcolm X even invented a term for that. It's called Uncle Tom. like we didn't know about that shit? I'm just like, CIA specifically timed this throw off Doug's video essay. Did you see that tweet I made? Starside. It actually did throw me off. I was working on my essay last week, or my fucking video yesterday. I was working in a groove, and then it just fucking shows up on my timeline. Fucking Cape and Cowl went on. Set to fucking, you know. It's rich, this African woman. She probably racist as shit too. Also, Africans in China be doing shit like blacks in America. I thought blacks Americans wanted black dolls to be more popular. They are. All right, that's a little more. That's funny, but it's messed up. Hui Muslims, Kaifeng Jews. Black Americans sure like to do a lot of chirping about Africa, but they never do the hard work. That's the thing, too. It's like, okay, if you want us Chinese people or us Asian people to get the fuck out, so blah, 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 all right. We can do it. Where are the rich black Americans going to Africa and setting shit up there? Where are they? Where are the rich black Americans doing that shit? Is LeBron James going to fucking Africa and making shit? Is fucking Alex Karp building shit in Africa? The richest African American in America, Alex Karp. $18 billion, right? I don't know, something like that. $20 billion. Who fucking knows? Alex Karp's got a lot of money. All right? Are the fucking black excellence people going to Africa and fucking helping them and building their infrastructure? Where are you guys? Where are you guys? Okay, fine. China should leave. Fine. Okay, who's doing that shit? Who's doing the anti-black shit to turn, Ethiopia into a nice city? Actually, same with white people. Well, they do a lot of chirping. Yeah. They learned it. That's where they learned it from. Black people learned all that shit from the whiteoid. It all comes back to the motherfucking Japs. Yep, Japs. Japs are fucking scum. Wait. Where did I... So glad I left ACP. Yeah. That's nuts. Who's Eric Xiao? What's up, though? What's nuts? Yeah, amen to that new Communist Party. Honestly, do much better work because you focus primarily on Asian Americans. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Most Asian content creators focus on non-Asians. I'm just kind of like, why wouldn't I just talk about the thing I know the most? Our own fucking people that isn't being talked about. You can equate Jews doing like shit. Chinese Koreas with Japs. Jews can also absolutely can be Nazis. They literally were. They were literally fucking, some Jews were actually literally Nazis. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Black America thinks, blah, blah, blah. They're not doing it. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter per se, but you know, at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, this Natasha doll thing, it's going to blow over in a few weeks, right? Or whatever. More rational people are going to be like, look, this is what it was, blah, blah, blah. Everything I'm saying, there's going to be more people saying the shit I'm saying right now. Especially presumably black Marxists will fucking figure this shit out and say what's going on, right? It's kind of up to them, really, to kind of inform the narrative of what's actually going on, right? Because they're the ones that are going to be most believed by the black American community, right? They're not going to believe an Asian face because they're like, oh, yeah, of course you're going to say that. You're Asian. Shut the fuck up, Gook. Like, die. You should all fucking die. Start Asian hate, right? I already fucking know, right? But, what will remain is the sentiment. What will remain? There's not going to... not everyone's going to... You know, there's a group of people who are just looking to hate on Asian... They're looking for any excuse to justify their hate against Asian people, ex post facto. Those people are never going to change. The people who are going to change are the people who are more rational, more whatever, more educated, etc., etc. But then there's going to be a whole cohort that doesn't fucking change. Wants to... You know, that are gonna fucking think the way that they think, and they're gonna fucking linger on in the fucking, you know, place, and they're just gonna be this fucking annoying, fucking like persistent sort of propagandist, because now they're already primed to try to find anything else that's Chinese that's bad against black people. Now they're going to try to find every little fucking thing. And in some people, some black people are going to be like not that invested. And so those people too are not going to even know about the real story. They're just going to see this and be like, oh yeah, Asian people, they're anti-black, as always, bias, confirmation bias, blah, 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 whatever. So you're just going to have this persistent, like on its own, this thing isn't like bad, but that's the thing. It's like the culmination. It's like the accumulation of all these like little fucking propagandist flashpoints that kind of like creates this like zeitgeist field of vision that even though the truth is already out there that debunks it, the fucking racism persists. The fucking anti-Asian fucking sentiment still persists. You know what I mean? I don't even think Africans like black Americans. That's what I'm saying too. Like there's a lot of tension between African people and African Americans, or black Americans rather. They don't even like being called African. That's the retarded part. Like there's so many black American people who's like, we're not African, we're American descendant of slaves. We're not like those black people. It's just kind of like, you realize you're just being kind of racist to your own kind too there, right? But the moment it seems like Asians are doing some shit in Africa, now it's like, oh, we're all best buddies, if you attack one of us, you attack us all, you're racist, blah blah blah. It was just like fucking so fake and phony. It's like they just want to use any excuse. They had to find fucking Sunjadu, one event every 30 years, I guess, right? An event that happens forget the fact that it was happening every fucking week from 2020 to 2022, right? To Asian Americans on the other side. But the one thing that happens on the other way around, now we gotta do something about this one. We gotta fucking You know what we're going to do? We're going to kill 38 Korean storekeepers from 1991 to 1993. That's what we're fucking going to do. Oh, you didn't know that we did that? Oh, you're anti-black because you didn't. You do know. So if you do know, you're anti-black. It's like, if you knew about if you knew about the Nakba, if you talk about the Nakba, you're anti-Semitic. If you talk about the actual aftermath of the Harlan's murder, you're anti-black. They don't want anything, Asian movement. It's hard to tell what they want. The thing is, they don't want anything. They just want... They just want opiates, right? Previously, religion was the opiate of the masses, right? And that was true with the black community up until pretty much the 1960s, 1970s. So what's their opiate these days? Their opiate is entertainment. Entertainment is their opium. Because in entertainment, black people can be somebody in the West, right? You have Michael Jackson, who was one of the most famous celebrities of all time. So the black American internalizes that and says, my greatness is attached to these celebrities. Because only these celebrities are actually really powerful in America. We don't really have black CEOs, except for Alex Karp, I suppose. But nobody thinks that guy's black, right? So what we have in terms of greatness, we got a black president, see? So it's just like feeling good about themselves is their goal, right? This just satisfying their fucking, feeling their fucking narcissism. Because it's always about, like, I noticed when black people are being racist to Asians, they're like, what do you guys have? You guys don't have a LeBron James or blah, blah, or whatever. You guys are lame and not cool and whatever. And then I realized, oh, these people worship these celebrities because they think that their value as a black person in America is attached to these black celebrities being popular and famous. So when they see something like the Natasha doll, it doesn't fucking even matter that it happened all the way in China or whatever. All that matters is their pride was stepped on. And I empathize with that. It was fucked up. Some of those videos were fucked up, right? Like the 2022 ones where where that fucking guy was trying to deliberately do that shit and abuse children. That was definitely fucked up, and I get it. But then at the end of the day, it's just like, okay, your pride has been attacked. It's all about, like, this idea, it's this kind of like idea of Izzat, the Jeet concept or the Hindu concept of Izzat, right? Where it's like, in that culture, apparently, Izzat means, like, honor. And what it means is that, like, if somebody did something to you, you need to do that exact thing back to them, and maybe even harder. Because if you humiliate him even more, you gain Izzat or whatever. I might be fucking this shit up. I don't know. Starside, you can tell me if I'm fucking this shit up. But basically, it's the same fucking concept of, like, thinking that pride and ego is a zero-sum game. Because they attacked my pride and my ego, these fucking Asians in China or whatever, I need to regain black pride for our people by killing random Asian people. This is the logic this is the internal logic that is happening right now. This is what they want. American blacks are just dark-skinned whites. Looks like we had a little drama here. Everybody be nice. Okay, Asians are objectively the most well-rounded citizens in society. Objectively, right? Like, do you know where the lowest amount of crime is in America? In all of America? It's fucking Honolulu. Over 50% Asian. Literally the lowest rates of fucking violent crime. Controlling for income, whatever it is. Poor people too. They just don't do shit. Mei Wenti don't Zhongdi? What's that mean? Don't forget the Asian girls. Yeah, I obviously know about all that. Uncorruptible Asian American Party. Fuck conservatards. Your comment disappeared. What did you say? In actuality, black Americans hate Africans the most. I mean, I don't see a lot of love from black Americans to Africans. I mean, black Americans to Africans. That's for fucking sure. You know, they can say all this shit that they want about this, you know, pan-Africans, pan-black solidarity, but it's all fucking performative nonsense. You know why? Because they don't know anything about geopolitics. They don't know about anything outside of their own fucking bubbles of this American bubble I'm talking about. This fucking American fucking bubble. That's all they know. You know? They probably don't even know where the Belt and Road Initiative even fucking is. Like what countries they're in. They probably don't even know these African countries. But it's just kind of like, oh, I'm going to complain about this shit because I want to kill Asian people. Or ex post facto judge because, like, you know, I've seen a lot of these posts, too, of saying, like, this is why I didn't support Stop Asian Hate. It's like, no, the reason you didn't support Stop Asian Hate is because you were doing most of the hate and you didn't want to be called out for it. So, logically speaking, that's why you didn't support it. But they try to make it like ex post facto. See? These Asians, you know, even though we're fucking them up here for no reason, because now we know Fauci and the China virus might have been fucking the American government, even though we attacked them for no reason for 2 years, that was all justified because Chinese people, these fucking random Chinese influencers were fucking doing this fucking bullshit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, logic does not matter to these people. Like, they just want to grab onto something that'll protect their ego. That makes them feel like they are important. You know, that's why they all glaze Obama. That's why they all still, you know, glaze Obama. They still glaze all their fucking celebrities. They, you know, the K-Hive, you know. There was this like voter who even said like, hey, are you voting for Karen Bass? And it's like, yeah. It's like, oh, what? Why? What are her policies? That you like? It's like, oh, I don't know. She's black. This is how this fucking works. Karen Bass, she's fucking CIA scum. They don't care. They just care about, is she black? You know? Like, what did she fucking do for LA in the past 4 years? She fucked up on the fires. She went to Ghana. It's just like, holy shit. It's just like AfroZionism is Afro-narcissism, you know? It's like, only our suffering matters. Only our suffering, and, you know, if, everything that makes us feel better about ourselves is good, and everything that makes us feel bad about ourselves is bad, right? Forget whatever the content is. Forget what the logic is. Forget whatever justice actually is. If it makes us feel bad, that means it's anti-black, It's kind of same thing with Zionists, right? If it makes us feel bad about what we're doing, it's anti-Semitic. If you are posting actual photos of ugly ass Jewish people, that's anti-Semitic, because how dare you? How dare you show how ugly one of us is? This is the fucking crazy, insane logic that is happening right now. It's like one thing to call out, actual fucking systemic, like state-sponsored shit that's fucking bullshit by the Chinese government. I'm sure they're not perfect, but they try to correct their mistakes. They try to, work with the fucking African people. But, of course, there's going to be mistakes that are going to be made. I'm sure that, but if you bring them up, then yeah, sure, I'm going to engage and I'm going to take it seriously, because okay, now this is a state level thing that is, being critiqued, and I need to look into that, because it's an actual legitimate thing. China probably shouldn't have done that, and I'm trying to understand what was going on there and why this thing happened. But if you're going to just say, how the Asian American community needs to answer for this, or we are going to fucking hate crime them. They're not even fucking some of them aren't even fucking denying. It's so funny too, though, because some of them try to keep denying that they were the majority of the hate crimers, like fucking retards. But a lot of them aren't even fucking denying it anymore. They're like, you know what? You deserve to get fucked up by us. We should do that even more. And I'm like, do you realize how spiritually Israeli you sound right now? You guys are all fucking, black lumpenproll and black liberals are just all spiritually Israeli. Wasn't under Obama when Gaddafi was murdered? That's the thing, too. You say you care about Africa. You say you care about African development. But then you're all glazing this president that fucking ended that shit in 2011 in Libya. He was trying to create a pan-African state. Trying to unite Africa so that they could take all their shit back from the whiteoid. And then you glaze this president that stopped African development in its fucking tracks. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't fucking lie to me and tell me that you care about these African people. You do not give a fuck. You care about your own fucking narcissism as black Americans. That's what you fucking care about. That's the fucking truth. And if you think about it, black Americans are really only 50 million people, apparently, around something like that. Let's see, 40 million people. Guess what? There are 1.4 billion Africans. But you pretend like your opinion counts much more than 1.4 billion. The people in Africa want China to stay. Most of them want China to stay. Yeah, obviously they're going to not like the fucking criminals. But for the most part, they want China to stay and develop their fucking countries. Because who else is going to fucking do that shit? They're like, hey, we like that you guys are around. Thanks for helping us. Otherwise, they'd be like, get the fuck out. Do African countries not have agency? Now that they're fucking children that need to be told by black Americans, apparently, what they need to do? The black Americans that don't go to fucking Africa to develop it, help develop it, or help fucking do anything there. It's like, get the fuck out. You guys are all fucking hypocrites. Like, you think in this fucking domestic box. You don't consider you have no theory of mind of anyone else who is not you, which is essentially just Black American. Like, your opinions are very limited to this very limited sphere of Black Americanism. And you have no theory of mind how anyone thinks outside of that. You just think, if white, bad. If Asian, also bad because they're kind of white. If Hispanic, probably also bad because they're whitish. They're more white than me. It's just like this us against the world mentality to try to like make yourselves into this hero character. That's the fucking grift. That's the fucking thing that Jews did too. Like, oh, everyone hates us. It's us against the world. We need our own country so we don't get hate crimed anymore. And it's like, I mean, Americans didn't do that shit. But whatever. Let's see. Westoids are so fucking worthless. They're getting ass fucked by their own oligarchs. And still whining about China. That's the thing too. It's like, it's just low-hanging fruit. They don't care about any of the actual geopolitics of Africa. They don't care about Africa. What they care about is their own personal pride and their own personal image. They see this as a slight to them. That's all they care about. And in order to correct this slight, they need to be able to fucking kill as many Asian people as possible. That's the logic. It's just like not even, it doesn't make sense. And then they complain about like not being in fucking K-pop and anime. And then they fucking say this retarded shit like I said before, like, oh, the white man nuked you guys and you guys are trying to be white worshiping. It's like, that's fucking Japan. Do you not know anything about Asian people? It's like these fucking imbeciles. Who are like, why aren't there any black people in K-pop? I'm like, are you fucking retarded? Like, Korea literally is 0.05% black. Less than that. 20,000 people out of 50 million. 0.04% black. Do you know what it takes to fucking be a K-pop star too? Like, that shit isn't just like, oh, a black person. Let's take a black person and fucking make her K. Are you training fucking like in these fucking training facilities, these fucking fascist training factories? It's not fun. I would very much doubt, like, if a black person went through it, a black American went through that shit, he would be like, they would probably quit, and they would be like, oh, they're so anti-black, they were so mean to me. It's like, no, they were just mean to every fucking person there. Like, you just didn't have it. But they would just blame it on anti-blackness, right? Like, being a K-pop star is like fucking hard work. It's not a fucking, like, you just get to be a celebrity. And even then, you aren't even fucking paid that much unless you're like a Jenny or whatever. But then you'd have to appeal to whiteoids. So in order to make money, you got to appeal to white people. But then now you're like, oh, well, I don't want to feel I'm black. It's like, well, that's the fucking rub. That's the fucking industry. What do you fucking want? This is how it's designed. Anyhow. American black people are spiritually whiteoid. I mean, they're the white people of black people, right? If you think about it, it's true. Who participated in Western imperialism the most? Out of all ethnicities in the entire world. Well, I guess for England, that used to be India, right? Because they turned the entire country into their fucking factory. And they used... That's the thing. Pax Britannica, the reason they didn't have any wars or whatever is because they had their sepoys killing people for them in Asia. They're Indian sepoys. They're literal Jeet army, right? And what did America do? They were like, oh, that's a good idea. Why are we having our white boys die in fucking Vietnam? We could send these black people who don't fucking give a shit about, pay off these stupid fucking, like, you know, civil rights leaders a little bit, and ship all these black people to die for us. It's just kind of like, how do you guys not see that? How do you guys not see that you're fucking pawns? Like, what do you fucking, like, where is the black political theorist that is, like, I guess they killed them, right? I guess they killed MLK. I guess they killed Malcolm X. I guess they killed, the Black Panthers. What happened to Kwame Ture? He died in 98. Oh, he died of cancer at 57. But he moved to Africa. See? Kwame Ture was doing the thing I'm talking about. He was trying to go back to Africa. He was trying to develop Africa. Or wait, was he in Africa or was he in... Oh, wait. No, he was in... Yeah. So he was in Guinea, in West Africa when he died. But he was about it, right? Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture. He was doing the things I'm talking about. Where's the next Kwame Ture? Where are you guys? Like when black people are like, we did all the work, we did blah blah blah. It's like, that's kanging. You didn't do that work. The people in the fucking 1960s, 1970s, the 1980s. They did the fucking work, and then you just fucking didn't do shit after that. You just fucking, like, let fucking Diddy and Jay-Z turn your industry into an Epstein fucking regime. Where's the revolutionary black American that I'm always hearing about? That all died in the 1970s, bro. 1980s. Black Panthers were crushed in 82. When an Asian American does racism towards black people, most of the time it's just microaggression. When black American does racism towards Asian American, it's physically lethal. I mean, that's what it is. It's just kind of like, what? Like, you could bring up Latasha Harlins all you want, but you guys killed 38 people in the next 2 years. Obviously as gang violence retaliation. And so it's just kind of like, where is the fucking reciprocity here? Where's the fucking justice? There is none. It's just fucking retarded. WMF Americans try to play, we are the cultural beacon of Asians, and until K-Wave. Oh, man. I'm happy about that, though. They think Japs are the center of Asia. That's the other thing. Like, Black Americans think they're revolutionary, and then they praise the fucking Nazis of the East. Like, this is the level of fucking, like, geopolitical knowledge. If any Asian person, black person do K-pop, it's MJ. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, yes, of course, Korean American K-pop has a lot of influence from Michael Jackson. But who's stopping? Who's stopping black people? Where are the black K-pop bands? Where are the black male K-pop bands? You guys had Boys to Men in the 90s. Didn't dance though. Where are the dancing black K-pop groups? Where's the black groups in general? That was the last one, right? That was the fucking Boys to Men. Was there another black group? No. So you guys aren't even willing to do the things that. So it's just kind of like, you know, if I was Michael Jackson, right? And I'm like, oh, damn. No one's really doing my music anymore. From the black community. They're all doing kind of like this hip hop, this R&B stuff, whatever. But no one's really doing the stuff that I was doing. I guess Chris Brown kind of did a little bit. But even then, it wasn't like. Like Chris Brown was just kind of like a photocopy, right? It wasn't anything really original about Chris Brown. But if I was Michael Jackson, I'd just be like, hey, they're keeping my shit alive. K-pop Koreans are keeping my shit alive. Like, I don't see black community doing that shit anymore. And while Chris Brown was a pretty good copy or whatever of what I was doing, the content was nothing what I approved of, you know. MJ was all about like love and respect and like coming together. Chris Brown was about punching Rihanna in the face, I guess. And just like, you know, hip hop, you know, lumpen pearl themes. It's like, yeah, I'm rich, I'm famous, blah, blah, blah. I'm cool, I'm the shit. And it's like, if you guys aren't making it, what do you want? If Koreans are making black stuff that you like, and you feel some sort of way about it, indignant about it, why don't you just make the stuff yourself? Are there not black entertainment verticals? Do you guys not have your studios and capabilities now? Like, that's not true. That might have been true 40 years ago, but it's not true now. You guys have plenty of fucking black entertainment moguls to go to make your K-pop, make your boy bands, make your black boy bands, make your black girl bands. Where's Destiny's Child? Like, what happened to Destiny's Child? Beyonce wanted to be Beyonce, so that's why that ended. But where was the next Destiny's Child? Right? There hasn't been a Destiny's Child in like 20 years. And it's just like fucking take accountability for once. It's just like this mentality of like, you know, it was promised to me 3,000 years ago, right? That's the mentality. The mentality is always just, this should be mine because I'm black and Michael Jackson was black. So I should get some compensation for whatever is going on with K-pop, because K-pop's popular now. And so because I assigned my ego to Michael Jackson, and now that Korea's taken that ego from Michael Jackson into these K-pop groups, I now want that ego back into me with the acknowledgement that this came from black people. That's just fucking all it is. You know? It's just this fucking Afro-narcissism that's associated with AfroZionism. But again, I'm going to have to make a fucking whole theory video about this. It's shit that I thought was resolved. People fucking knew about it. It's like, I just want to do the thing that gets the least amount of Asians killed. And for that crime, apparently everyone hates me. So that's my crime. Like, I am like considered anti-black. Like, a lot of people, a lot of black people probably think I'm like the anti-black Hitler on Twitter. But all I just want is for no hate crimes to happen. Is that so hard? Is that so hard? No hate crimes. No violence against Asian people. That's all I want. I don't fucking want your jobs or your money or whatever, respect. I don't fucking care. Just stop killing my grandmas. Right? That's just like, that's the central basis of my politics. Don't kill my grandmas. That's why I got into politics in the fucking first place. I was content. My entire life, I didn't give a shit about politics. I didn't give a shit about anything. I was like, politics doesn't care about Asian people, so I'm not going to care about politics. But you know what? When we start getting fucking killed by people, random people, at a fucking alarming rate, yeah, I'm gonna fucking care about politics a little bit. And the rabbit hole took me all the way down to Marxism, Leninism, where I'm reading fucking textbooks on fucking philosophy, right? This is where my journey led me to, because I wanted to be as fucking accurate and fair and just as possible. But at the end of the day, my motivation is not because I'm like, oh, I'm a poor person, I hate capitalism, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that's not, obviously that's not true, right? My motivation isn't like, oh, I'm just an Asian person who wants to be more white and white adjacent. Like, obviously that's not true. Everyone tries to lie about what I'm actually about. Right? Everyone, like, the black people think I'm trying to be more white because they're fucking retarded. The whiteoid thinks I'm thinking too much about racism because they're fucking white supremacist pieces of shit. You know? The Marxists think I'm too pro-Asian, I guess, because they're whiteoid retards and don't know what the fuck they're doing at all. I don't know. Who else hates me? Everyone fucking hates me. The fucking WMA people hate me, obviously. Because I call them out for being pieces of shit. I just want non-fucking genocide to happen, you know? Where do you think blacks got the arrogance from? Is like how the right says it's from the Yehudis. What's the Yehudis? I mean, the average African American is 20% white, according to DNA. So I'm not actually being incorrect in saying that black Americans are the white people of black people. It's genetically actually true. The Western left got to stop glazing blacks. Just looking for hunkies. Whitos don't kill all that shit. Well, I forgot about CRISPR. Can't keep blaming the victim if they put in the effort. Jews were the OG kings, Lamau. I mean, Nazis were kind of the OG kings, right? We was Greeks. That was going on with the Nazis. We was Aryans were the Greeks. Aryans were the Romans. Aryans were everyone. That was basically. They even said the fucking ancient Indian people were Aryan, but then those people left India because they spread the religion of Aryanism to India and then left, and then that developed into Hinduism and Buddhism. And so they were the Aryans of greatness back then, but then they left because obviously the Indians are not white, so they were the ones that gave the Indians their religion. It was all this kanging that was going on. They on some Lizzo entitlement. Yahudis is Jews in Arabic. Oh. We need Asian president. We just an Andrew Yang, nutless. Yeah. We don't need an Asian president. We just need to leave this country. That's what we need. Our parents made a mistake, guys. Sorry to say. We made a mistake come here. It's the worst fucking place. But it is what it is, and we just gotta be prepared. We gotta be prepared to figure out when the shit does hit the fan, what we're gonna do about it. Right? That's all we can do at this point, in my opinion. I hate to sound black pill, in the past couple of years, I've tried to avoid saying stuff like that because it sounds like I'm giving up, but in a sense, I'm kind of more prioritizing that sort of angle in my mind lately. So everyone has to do what they got to do. Correct about what mistake? Asian president will disappointed but kissing the wall. Yeah. But all right, I've been yapping for a while. Anything else does people want to talk about? But I'm gonna pass out, or I'm gonna leave in 20 seconds. Doug, go to China and get a wife. Oh, yeah, like it's that easy. Just go to China, get married, and that's it. I am planning, like, once I move back to New York, I'm going to be more planning my trip to China. All right. I'll talk to you later. See you guys. See you guys.